Welcome back to Queen City News, your local election headquarters. We are getting you ready for the race for governor here in North Carolina. The primary is on March 5th.
And Mike Morgan is a familiar face in the state capitol. Morgan retired in September as the Senior Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of North Carolina. He served 34 years of service over the course of 4 different judgeships. At age 8, he was the first black student to integrate the Trent Park Elementary School in New Bern. Morgan earned his law degree from North Carolina Central University. He and his wife Audrey raised their 2 children in the Tar Heel State and are the grandparents of 5.
Justice Morgan, thanks for being here with us on Queen City News. We appreciate your time to be with us.
Thank you.
Justice Morgan, you have 44 years of public service, and most recently leaving from the North Carolina Supreme Court bench. How do you anticipate leveraging your legal experience in the governor's office?
Well, the fact is a lot of folks feel as though state government is leaving them behind, and state government is broken. I've got the unique skill set never before seen in any candidate in terms of the length, depth, and breadth of experience that I have in terms of figuring out what the issues are, the complex issues being able to be addressed with answers that make sense. I do have that experience from the judicial side. I can bring that over to the executive side and help the legislative branch as well to figure out these complex issues, what it takes to analyze what are fair and appropriate ways to make sure that we can make North Carolina work for all of its people.
You've also talked about having equal pay for everyone throughout the state of North Carolina, especially for gender and women's rights and LGBTQ. How do you plan to go about maintaining or protecting those rights for individuals?
It doesn't make any sense for a woman to make less than a man when it comes to the same job being done. We've got to lift that pay scale. We get better and we get stronger when we celebrate diversity.
What things could the governor's office do to, in the polarizing times that we are in now, what efforts could you use to do that?
I don't see a cookie cutter approach. I see opportunities. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I just want to make sure that there's a wheel turning.
Democracy is on the ballot this year, and from the governor's position, how can you protect democracy within the state of North Carolina?
I've got the personality therefore that sets tone for the fact that we are going to have democracy. I have dedicated my life to democracy. I've dedicated my life to a level playing field.
The African American vote in this race, like every race in North Carolina, would be crucial. How do you see yourself connecting with African American voters in those rural areas that are most often untouched during these type of elections?
Well, I do identify as being African American or black, so I think that gives me an opening. Also, the fact that I am from a somewhat rural area, southeastern North Carolina, but particularly that segment feels lost and forgotten. I'm authentic enough with African Americans to make it clear that I am one of them.
On the other ticket is Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson for Republicans, the front runner right now. How do you differentiate yourself in talking with the African American voter in those communities?
First of all, I lift everybody up, and I don't castigate, demean, or insult any population. Lieutenant Governor Robinson has been quoted as saying, quote, "I ain't no African American," unquote. That in and of itself shows that there is a lack of authenticity there. Lieutenant Governor Robinson is merely one who is a vehicle by which to take North Carolina back.
Once a voter gets to those polls, they'll have to make a decision at some point. What would make them push your name?
I'm the most electable of the 2 of us that you mentioned that are appearing to be on the Democratic side. When I ran statewide in 2016, I had the widest vote margin of victory of anyone who ran in 2016. I took 76 out of 100 counties. We need someone on the Democratic side who knows how to lift up the ballot. I can do that because I'm a proven winner, I'm a proven Democratic leader, and I would be the best choice in March, again, to go towards November.
Former State Supreme Court Justice Mike Morgan, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. It's been my honor.